Hello, everybody, and a good day to you all. Today, I'm talking about The Flash, episode number 20, Rapture. In this episode here, you have Zoom, aka Hunter Zolomon, also played by Teddy Sears. And Hunter Zolomon, Zoom, has decided to take Caitlin back to her world, Earth 1. Because he already beat up Earth 2, so he has now decided to take over all the worlds. And since Barry's out of commission, he has no powers anymore. He's no longer the Flash. It's easy pickings. He's going to recruit all the metahumans he can, and if anybody, metahuman or human alike, stand in his way, he will kill them. And you have Barry, who has no powers anymore because he gave him up to save Wally. He's going to decide to fight Zoom without using any powers at all, just using his wit and his will. Nice, nice thinking, but that's not really a good idea. But that's his plan. That's the plan he's going to stick with. Fine. And while in this episode, you have two people who have on the show before have come back. You have Barry's father, Henry Allen, played by John Wesley Ship. He's back on the show, and he seemed to be back on the show permanently. Fantastic. It doesn't have a good results, but he's back. And you have Dante Ramon, played by Nicholas Gonzalez, and Dante is Cisco's brother. And he's back on the show. And he also doesn't have a good reunion. Oh, wow. Families should not show up on the show because he's not going to end well for you. Well, because Dante, he meets his double. Because everybody has a double in Earth 2. And Zoom is taking people from Earth 2 and bringing them to this world so he can conquer this world. And Dante's double code name is Rapture, and he's also a bad guy. Which means is if Cisco had the metahuman gene and he got affected, would Dante have the metahuman gene too? His doesn't get activated yet. So if he got activated, would he have the powers too? Interesting thought. And you also have Wally West and Jesse Wells. They're pretty much, I want to say working together, but they have been put in protective custody together because, well, Zoom took them both the first time, and so Joe doesn't want his son to get taken again, and Dr. Harrison Wells doesn't want his daughter to get taken again, so they pretty much locked them away. And you have Dr. Wells who's trying to convince Barry to let him go through the particle assimilator thing again because he wanted to get his powers back because he knows that's the only way he's going to stop Zoom. Without his powers, he can't do anything. I mean, he could try all the tricks he want to do, but using holograms and stuff, that's nice and all. It could fool the lower metahumans and the lower and people who don't have powers. It could fool them, but Zoom, that's not going to work. So you have Dr. Wells who's trying to get Barry to get his powers back using the particle assimilator, and you have Joe who's stuck in the middle, not quite sure if he shouldn't or not, but all he wants to do is save his son, and he doesn't want to see Barry go through this crap again. So he's thinking maybe you should take it. And then you have his father Henry who's thinking I just got my son back, and the first time he went through this thing, he was in a coma. I don't know if his body can handle it this time. He might die. Oh, yeah. So he had all these people are pretty much right in a way, but the choice is up to Barry. He has to decide, does he want to go through this again, and so on and so on. I was going on this episode right here. This was a really, really good episode. I really did enjoy this a whole lot. Barry Allen's performance on the show he always does an amazing job as the Flash. He's a very likable, loving character, and he's very upbeat and kind. And he's the superhero that you want to see. Because in the movies, all the superheroes are kind of dark and depressing, but in the TV show here, he brings light, he brings hope. If only Superman did it in the movies. Oh. But even though he may be going through some dark things and facing a lot of dark villains, it doesn't make him dark as well. And watching his performance, watching Grant Gus's performance on this show is always fun to watch. And Dr. Wells, played by Tom Cavanaugh, amazing. because you can see him. He's being he's the father on the show. He has a daughter. He wants to protect his daughter, and he also wants to help Barry at the same time. It seemed like Barry lost has three dads on the show. He pretty much has three dads on the show. He has his biological father, Henry Allen. He was taken out of his life because he was in prison most majority of all of Barry's life. He was raised by Joe, who became sort of like his surrogate father. Took him in, raised him as pretty much as his own. Even though he's not flesh and blood, he still considers Barry his son. And then you have Dr. Harrison Wells. He's more like his science father in a way, because like both of them love science. And Harrison fought against taking in Barry, but because of what Barry is and what he stands for and what he's trying to do, it kind of won Harrison over, and he kind of became like his third father in a way. So he had three fathers on the show. Each of them have different ideas of what Barry should do with his life, and each one of them has a right in their own way. And I like how the show kind of did that, because it could have just made it just black and white. It made it just they were just wrong and they were right. But you actually it made you see how each person does have a point on how things should be. Because even though you want to see Barry get his powers back, you want him to be the Flash, because if he's not the Flash, the show won't really work. But you also can understand Henry's thinking. You understand where he's coming from, because he doesn't want to see his son go through a coma again, or possibly die, because that could happen. I mean, who's to say that him going through the same process again will have the same results? It could have a negative result this time instead of a positive. Because the first time was just a happy accident. This time it's done on purpose, and it might not go the way you want it to. I'm not gonna spoil anything, because if you haven't seen it, I want you to see it for yourself. What happens towards the end, especially. And if you have seen it, well, you know how it was. This was a great episode. I really did enjoy it a whole lot. The action scenes were great. Teddy Sears as Zoom, he's amazing. He's creepy. He's scary. He doesn't seem like he can be stopped. He's crazy. He plays the perfect villain. This show right here is like the perfect comic book show. If you love comic books, you can really get into the show. And if you're not really into comic books, I think you can still get into it and have fun watching it. So if you haven't been watching The Flash, check it out for yourself. And hopefully you will enjoy this as much as I do. And if you did see this episode of The Flash right here, leave your comments down below and let me know what you thought about it. Like I said before, great episode. I did enjoy it a whole lot. I highly recommend it. Well, that's all I got to say about that. So give my channel a big like and a thumbs up. Boom. And subscribe to my channel and share. I really would appreciate it. So like I always say, in my dreams and in real life, I am the Ninja Rabbit. Peace out, peoples.